Okay, so I got caught in the middle. We're doing the tan inverse, and we did see that the tan inverse of 13 over 8 was equal to, what was it? 58.4 degrees. And that would be perfect because 58.4 degrees, well, that's pitiful, plus 31.6 degrees does equal 90 degrees. Now, the reason that we are even looking at this today is this is the way that we are going to derive our sine function, our cosine function, and our tangent function. The x-coordinates of all three of those are going to be your either degree measure or your radian measure. We tend to use radian measure, but I have seen degrees used every now and then. So we're going to start on our x-axis and do 0, pi over 6, pi over 4, pi over 3, pi over 2. That's going to be how we move on our x-axis, and then on our y-axis we are actually going to find a measure that'll be more like 1, 2, 3, however we're going to move in more standard numbers. That standard number is going to come from how we view this particular situation. We have an x which represents our adjacent side, and we use an x for this side because it's how far you go out on the x-axis. Here you have a y, and it's going to be your opposite from this particular angle because it's how far we go up on the y-axis, and we are going to use an r to represent our radius. On the unit circle, r is always going to be what? What is the radius on the unit circle? 1. There we go. So it actually makes it nice when we're trying to graph our sine and cosine that our r is going to be 1. So if we're dividing by 1, not too big of a deal. This is a relationship that you want to memorize. You definitely need to know that your sine goes with the y coordinate, cosine goes with x over your radius, and tangent is y over x. So the last problem today that I want to look at is if I give you the coordinate 2, 5, can you figure out what angle measurement we would be at? 2, 5 obviously means that we are going to come out 2 units from 0. So this base of my triangle, or the x, obviously, is going to be 2. And then we are going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know that's not very even, but the height of this triangle is then going to be 5. We have our x, we have our y, but the one piece that we are missing is our what? The radius, right? Whether you want to call it the radius or whether you want to call it the hypotenuse, that's what we're missing. So if this is 2 and this is 5, what could we use in order to find that distance? Pythagorean theorem. Good, Austin. So our Pythagorean theorem is going to be a squared what? Plus b squared equals c squared. We also can write this as x squared plus y squared equals z squared. In this particular case, if we're representing everything in x, y, and z. My x squared, I'm going to plug in 2. My y squared, I'm going to plug in 5. And I'm solving for my z squared. Well, what's 2 squared? Plus 5 squared is 25 equals z squared. 4 plus 25 gives me 29. And in order to just get 1z, what do you have to do, Gabby? Take the square root. Very good. So our z is going to be equal to the square root of 29. I put z. What should I have put? I'm getting tired. I didn't mean z. We used x, y, and r. I should have used r. Is that what you said? Sorry. I'm going to change this to r. R, 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 R. R is going to equal the square root of 29. So in order to find this angle down here, that's what we're looking for, we can do all three trig relationships and find out that they're always going to give us the same angle. Sine of theta is opposite over, come on guys, what's sine? Opposite over hypotenuse, or in this case, y over r. Well, what's y over r? Over the square root of 29. Do I like 5 over the square root of 29? No. So I'm going to have to multiply top and bottom by square root of 29. And so my sine, I'm going to have to write it up here. My sine of theta should be 5 square root of 29 over 29. Good. If I do my cosine, let me scoot over a little bit. Cosine of theta is x over r. What's my x coordinate? See how x is 2, right? So it's going to be 2 over the square root of 29. Multiply top and bottom by the square root of 29. And so it's 2 square root of 29 over 29. Jacob, what is my y coordinate going to be? Or pardon me, what is my tangent going to be? Okay. And x and y and r, what is that equal to? So what's my y coordinate? So what I want you to do right now in your calculator, we're solving for the angle. So do we put the sine of this? No, you do sine inverse. Try sine inverse of 5 square root of 29 over 29. Then try cosine inverse of 2 square root of 29 over 29. And then do tan inverse of 5 halves. Second cosine. See how it's cosine to the negative 1? Yeah. Anybody find it? What was it, Gabby? 68 point what? 68.2. So this angle measure you should get is 68.2 degrees. You have a quiz tomorrow. Please don't forget to study.